A family in Denver, Colorado, found someone living in their basement for 11 years. A man in Seattle saw a shadow figure standing over his bed every night at 3 a.m. until the night it spoke to him. And a family in Phoenix, Arizona, checked their CCTV footage one morning and found something standing in their kitchen at 3 a.m. That was not any of them. 3 true stories tonight on Beyond the Dark. Welcome to Beyond the Dark, where the most terrifying real stories come to life. Tonight, 3 true horror stories from 3 different families, 3 different cities, 3 different nightmares. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, do not check your CCTV footage tonight. Story 1. 11 years below. Denver, Colorado, USA. The Martinez family moved into their new home in spring. Beautiful house, quiet street, good neighborhood. The basement door was sealed with a simple padlock. The previous owners had left the key. The family planned to open it on moving day. But moving day was busy, and the basement was forgotten for 3 months, until their dog started acting strange. Every night, at exactly 3 a.m., the dog would sit at the basement door, completely still, staring at it, growling quietly for exactly 1 hour, then stop and walk away. The father noticed this pattern. After 2 weeks, he decided to investigate the basement. He unlocked the padlock, opened the door, and immediately felt something wrong. The air that came up from below was warm, not cold like a normal basement. Warm, like someone had been living down there. He went down the stairs alone. What he found shocked him completely. The basement was furnished. A bed, a small table, a chair, a lamp, running water, connected to the house supply, food in a small refrigerator that was plugged into the house electricity, and on the wall, a calendar marked with dates going back 11 years. Before the Martinez family, before the previous owners, before the owners, before them. 11 years of dates, marked carefully, every single day. Police were called. They searched the basement, found everything exactly as the father described, but also found a small hatch in the ceiling, leading up into the kitchen floor, with a clear view of the entire kitchen. Whoever had been living in that basement had been watching the family above them every single day for 11 years, across multiple families. They were never found. The basement was sealed permanently, but the Martinez family said one thing stayed with them. The calendar on the wall, the last date marked, was the day they moved in. 11 years. Living beneath multiple families, watching them Story 2 is about something that cannot be explained by logic. A shadow that would not leave until the night it decided to speak. Story 2. The shadow that spoke. Seattle, Washington, USA. His name was Thomas. 44 years old. He had lived in his apartment for 6 years, nothing unusual, nothing strange, until February 2023, when he woke up at exactly 3 a.m. and saw it standing at the end of his bed. A shadow figure. Tall. Dark. No face. Just darkness. Where a face should have been. Thomas froze. He had heard about sleep paralysis, about hallucinations. He told himself that is what this was. He closed his eyes, counted to 10, opened them again. The figure was still there. This happened every single night for 4 weeks. Thomas started sleeping with the lights on. The figure was still there. He tried sleeping in the living room. The figure was at the end of the sofa. He tried sleeping at a friend's house. The figure was at the end of the guest bed. Wherever Thomas slept, the figure was there, watching. On the 29th night, Thomas decided to speak to it. "What do you want?" he said quietly. The figure did not move. "Why are you here?" Thomas asked. Still nothing. Thomas took a deep breath. "Who are you?" And then, for the first and only time, the shadow figure moved. It slowly raised one dark arm and pointed directly at Thomas. And in a voice that seemed to come from inside Thomas's own head, it said one word. Just one word. "You!" Thomas screamed, ran out of the apartment, called police. Officers found nothing. Thomas never went back to that apartment. He has since moved 4 times to 4 different cities. And every night, at exactly 3 a.m., he wakes up. And the figure is there, at the end of his bed, pointing at him. Always pointing. Thomas now sleeps with every light on, with a camera recording his room. He has reviewed hundreds of hours of footage. And on the footage, the figure is there, clear as day, standing at the end of the bed. On every single recording, every night, pointing. A shadow that followed him everywhere, that spoke his name, that pointed at him every single night. Story 3 is the one that disturbed police the most, because unlike the others, this one was caught on camera. And what the CCTV showed has never been explained. Story 3. The 3 a.m. kitchen. Phoenix, Arizona, USA. The Thompson family installed security cameras throughout their home in January 2023. Nothing was missing. Nothing was wrong. They just wanted to feel safe. For 3 months, the footage showed nothing. Normal family life. Normal days. Normal nights. until April 14, 2023, when the father reviewed the footage over his morning coffee and found something that made him drop his cup at exactly 3 a.m. On April 13th, every camera in the house went dark for exactly 3 minutes. When the cameras came back on, the kitchen camera showed something that was not there before the blackout. A figure standing completely still in the center of the kitchen. Tall, dark, facing the camera. The father watched the footage 3 times. He called his wife. She watched it once and immediately called police. Officers came that morning. They reviewed the footage. 4 officers watched it, not one of them spoke for 2 minutes. The senior officer finally said, "We need to send this to our technical team." The technical team reviewed the footage for 2 weeks. Their conclusion: the figure in the footage is not a person. It does not move like a person. It does not breathe like a person. And most importantly, it does not appear in any of the cameras, except the kitchen. Despite standing in direct line of sight of 3 other cameras, we have no explanation for this. The Thompson family moved out immediately. The house was sold 6 months later. The new owners installed their own CCTV cameras. On their very first night in the house, at exactly 3 a.m., every camera went dark for exactly 3 minutes. And when they came back on, the kitchen camera showed the same figure, still standing there, still facing the camera, as if it had never left, as if it had been there the entire time, waiting. 3 stories, 3 families, 3 horrors that cannot be explained. Something living below, something following you everywhere, something standing in your kitchen at 3 a.m. If these stories kept you up tonight, you have not heard anything yet. Every week, new true horror stories from real homes, real families, real darkness. Subscribe to Beyond the Dark and never feel safe in your home again. The darkness always has more to tell. Watch the next video if you dare.